Good morning, everyone. All right. So we got some more news to deal with this week. Really on Wednesday, Thursday. So kind of like the market will sort of be on its own at the beginning of the week. And for the moment, it appears that it wants to follow through where it left off. Just checking reports here. Hold on a second. Yeah, a couple of auctions this morning, whatever it's tomorrow. But ISM on Wednesday morning, ADP employment, of course, the Fed announcement at 2 o'clock, and then the jiggles around, whatever they're going to say. The Fed guy's going to say. So look around. Things are kind of grinding up. It was a schizo kind of price action up, gap down, up, Meta gapping down, Google gapping up, and the other gyration. So historically, prices tend to, and wind up in between these moving averages after they break down, which almost always lines up with an area of minor resistance. It was here where it broke down from. So, it's going real slow this morning. You can see just kind of hanging there, but he's got this little base and kind of sets up a pretty good scenario for at least moving up into that area in the short term. I think that's, for the moment, that's likely what's going to happen. It's, it's gotten through here and this little congestion area right there. And it's not much, but you can see between the MAs, the 50 is there, widely followed. But we want to see where that is on the spiders. I'm just looking at the futures first. And this has let's see, that's stuck at a little tougher area right there, all those pivot highs. But so far, it's going sideways. We call absorbing supply or bullish price action. So it's alerting right now. It's tagging that line, but it's going sideways at that resistance, but rather than falling, look below. And so this has got room, a little void. Let's just drag this up here. A little void. Let's go to that minor resistance area in between the moving averages and minor resistance. It just tends to set up that way. Whether it can get to the 50 or stops in between here, who knows? You can see after the decline and the advance last week, we've got a big, wide, trading range with this minor resistance there. And as I put on the little intro slide, I think it's pretty easy to say it's going to stay within the trading range for the early part of the week, and it may stay within this trading range all week. Again, we'll see as the news comes out, middle of the week, end of the week, where we're at. But as it comes up into this area, this is where it should. Just based on the prior drop, this is where it should, whatever, at some point, do this. That's what we're going to be looking for. Whether it should historically form that kind of reversal, and then we see, test the lows, whatever it's going to do, go sideways. Yeah. What are interest rates going to do? Just clean that up. You can see they're down a little bit. So the beginning of a breakout failure, we'll see where today goes. The 10-year hasn't reached its destination, which should be up here. But last week we talked about this little congestion area, these opens and closes where would be a stall point. And, that's what's happening. You can see with today's gap down below the breakout bar, a little breakout bar failure, similar to what we saw on the weekly charts several weeks ago before the decline started. So, does it break below this pivot? Does it stay within a range? So there isn't anything really decisive here, um, other than to say prices should stay within a range, whether it's a big range or a little range, get to the moving averages. You know, we have things lined up right now to, have a bias that prices probably aren't going to move a heck of a lot, but they may move up toward, you know, respective resistance areas. The Dow is weaker. Um, it did not advance further Friday. And this has the greatest possibility in it does begin to break lower, to move down, a measured type of move to the downside. So until we can get some kind of decisive reversal, there's deal with whatever it is intraday and whatever kind of swings that we can find on the daily time frames. Um, Russell, it's got some resistance, same scenario. Maybe if things can get moving, it can move into this little void. You can see on the hourly time frame, you've got this downside shakeout, which is the completion of that, obviously, is it has to break out, but it's going sideways at resistance, and that's what we want to see. So the downside shakeout has a nasty drop. It stabilizes. It rips right back up again. And then it goes sideways at that resistance and sets up the possibility of moving above that resistance and going up to the next resistance. So the Russell could be a good one to trade intraday. Keep an eye on, of course, you know, regionals that here, not doing much of anything here, and they've already led the way up. Where is my biotech? Here we go, right there. Maybe maybe can get things moving. That they're gapping up a little bit. You got the beginnings of a W down here. So they were obviously the weaker and led the way down. They're holding the 200 MA. Not related so much to the Russell, but banks. There's some regional banks in this sector. This has reached its destination. So this is going to be interesting to see what these financials do, whether they can get above this area or whether they break this low. So set some alerts there. Right now, it's just trading within a range. Right. Spiders, up a little bit. You can see right at the 20 at yesterday's high, not doing much of anything, but has room to move up toward the 50 or maybe better. Right now it's not moving. I'm just kind of waiting there. And SPX, just double check these numbers. 50, 60, 50, 65. Came way up, right? 50, 60, come up a little at 60, 65. So that's under yesterday's low. I'm not really liking that. But it should go up, right? That's my thinking, with the weekend looking at everything. It should just continue to move up, and we'll see if it gets, above this first resistance area. And if it can do that, you know, it's unlikely it would get that far. But again, of course, we have to assess what's happening there early on. And if it gets through here, well, clearly it's unlikely that it's going to come down there today. I took note of this unfilled gap down here. So right now here, little range. I don't know if we're in for an inside day, but if the market's buyers come in, I like the idea of taking out that high, being able to get a bit higher. We'll see if that plays out. And if it does start moving up early on, look to get above 51.50 because it ain't going to get far above that if it could even get there. Right? Industrials, the weaker, and then fill. It looks like that. Well, it didn't fill the gap. This is not near the close, but not yesterday, Friday in the green room when things were coming up. This is the area that I was looking at was going to touch the prior day's low. And when you see gaps, I mean, that's the general, bias or practice is that when it comes into the pivot to the left, that's where it's likely to stall. And then you see if it turns down in a more significant way or whether it can continue up toward the gap. So, things on Friday kind of pretty much went dead. And, by 12 o'clock, 11:30, things were, just into sleepy mode. Not much happened. Q's gapping up a little bit. Everybody knows Tesla's gapping up. Finally, looks like the bottom is in. So that's gapping up a significant amount. See where it is coming up to some resistance, but cleared these pivots. So pretty powerful move. And we looked at interest rates, gold, kind of like stuck in that little range, not doing anything. It was like just waiting, I guess, to see what is going to happen on Wednesday. But, just making that little range. It can go in either direction. Nothing's moving. Internals are neutral, Robert. Mentioned in the letter over the weekend that historically, this zero line, after you get this deep move down in breadth and the markets advance from there, which they typically do when you get down around minus 300. It didn't get below minus 300, but when it gets up to the zero line, it's typically where the market, as a guide, the market would stall. So that's at the zero line. Doesn't mean it can't go up today a little higher. Sentiment is neutral. The equity one is not up at, it's also neutral, but this one got into the lower bands, early on. This is the equity, this is the total. So internals, nothing, no advantage, nothing at an extreme. So no information there that's of an assistance. Generally, I would just say if it can take out those little resistance areas that we looked at, prices should go up. Now, Bitcoin, kind of teetering here, which way it's going to go. It's formed this pivot low. Now it's going to form a lower pivot high at this resistance and, within this little box. So we'll see which way things go here. Some of the stocks and ETFs related to Bitcoin looked somewhat encouraging, like they could go up, but probably now they're not going to. Yeah, Hood looks good. I saw that over the weekend. And some others, these kind of patterns, at the 50, retesting a pivot. It's under the 20, it's at resistance. But, maybe can get something going. I didn't see too much of anything that was like, wow, this looks like a great setup. Things have pulled back, resistance isn't too far. We'll see how it sets up. The dollar is down a little bit. You see, there was some news, Japan supporting the yen, which is getting cremated, right? And we'll see where it goes there. And so maybe a little help, again, interest rates down a little bit, dollar down a little bit. Markets have some room to move up toward a more significant resistance area. So we take out a little of that resistance, it's a little short-term bias for some longs early on, and then we'll see where it goes from there. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. Yeah, it was a little harder finding quality setups, but we found a bunch as always. It's just our bias, our commitment is not at a turning point. So we're just not as aggressive as we were. We were pounding the shorts on this breakdown here. I remember this was a Monday, gapped under that green bar, and oh, I'm sorry, this wide range gapped over this red bar. And I'm like, what? Where did that come from? And then it gave it up 2 weeks ago today. And that's what started that. We started getting long there. All right, Aichi. And let me type these out. Alarms, Cal Z. Turn there. Deep. I see one print up here. If it is gapping up there, obviously I have to wait for a pullback. So it's an ETF, not very liquid, so I don't trust it. DKS, kind of an inverse head and shoulder here. I had an up alarm go off, but I don't see any prints. So hopefully it opens flat. I'm gonna triggers last week's high. Tesla, we were gonna give a put spread. That's a 1, 2, 3. There's some news. Market's all happy that Musk went over to China selling his driverless car. So that's going to be a cancel, obviously. No way we're going to get filled. On Goldman, we have as a put spread and directional watch. This is a continuation pattern. It was up a lot, but then you had two correction bars and another closing breakout. So that's gapping over the entry, so that's good to go if filled. SR. These must be old. Yeah, these are old. SMR, we're in trail mode. I had an alarm go off on Rexer, but I don't see any prints. That's a little double bottom retest. 30-minute high over Friday's high. I think could bounce, maybe all the way up to the 20. I don't know. Let's look at Aichi's trades here. CNM. Not bad, but it's going to kind of fit in the category of since we're not at a major market turn, is it quality enough? And I don't know. Yes, it is bullish. You got a buy setup weekly. Now this one I like a little better, but I'm not going to rush into it. It's range bound here, Aichi. But if it can go sideways for a day or two and then break out, you have a bigger void. But see, look, earnings 5.2, so that messes it up. I actually did find a lot of good trades that all had earnings. RDNT, it's range bound. Just set an alarm. But I have enough to watch. SEG trade's a little sloppy. Got rejected 3 times here, 4 times, counting this topping tail. I think we can find better. Hood. I looked at this for a put spread, but it could be the day trade that's holding well. I looked at coin as a put spread, but it has earnings on the second. I looked at Amazon as a put spread, earnings tomorrow. This is a bull island reversal that closed at resistance with a void. So this could be a fantastic day trade idea. Let's watch that on us, whatever setup we get. That looks great. Shop, I just posted as a put spread. I just saw the gap. It's not earnings. Sloppy as can be, but with the gap here after a climb up, another put spread idea. Boeing got a I don't know if it was I'm not sure about the downgrade, but yeah, I read something that they got their credit rating, their bond rating lowered, and it's opening flat. So there's nothing to do right now. But the fact that it's opening flat on bad news is bullish. So that's one of my usual suspects, but nothing to do anytime soon. Tesla, we talked about. Apple got a couple upgrades and maybe some other news, but no pattern. That actually might set up for a day trade short. FedEx potential W bottom here. I have an alarm at 267. Airbnb put spread idea. Visto continuation breakout. I think that's Alex. Looks good. Mindy, I was going to do a put spread, but no juice. But, small inverse head and shoulder with breakdown failure. So that is a 30-minute high idea. I will put that in a window. Lulu, gapping down. You got to climb a weekly at a deep retracement. I don't know. That's on Alex's list. I'll let you watch it for me. Oh, let me go hit these earnings real quick first. There's not many, and I deleted a couple. Oscar November is a semi. It was up. It's now down. Nothing to do. PHG. All right, thanks, Don. Yeah, I didn't even look at the news. That's a massive gap. Nothing to do. Ben. If it can recover, I think I have an alarm at 25 and a quarter, and it's a double bottom. RBTY, I sent a telegram alert out saying if it opens flat, this is a sell setup and a downtrend. Look at all three of these moving averages. So this is a tier 1 short. We just have to see how it sets up. I'll put that in the window. RBTY. Sophie, bottoming pattern, but that's whacking all over the place. I don't like the overlapping bars. It is a bear trap though, gapping over this red bar. I'm not sure of the target, but it could be a day trade long if it sets up. Dairy Queen, ugly gap to this prior low. All right, those are all the earnings. Back to my big watch list, VTR. Bottoming pattern, but 5-1. But 30-minute high, day trade idea. Proof, sell setup. I got an alarm, but 4:30. See? I would have totally put that in the letter, but for earnings. But day trade, Friday's low. iRobot, 5.7 earnings. This is the biggest little pop in a while with a bullish 15. So that's a day trade idea, 30-minute high. SLVM, 100% retracement, bullish price action, long watch. Dell, it's a pseudo 123, 180 reversal with a void. I like this as a put spread and 30-minute high. LYB over Friday's high. RigT, Don found this for us. This is one of these supercomputing stocks. I just don't like that it's over the counter when you see 4 decimal points, but it's making the turn. It'll make your support. So that's the logical time to get in. Lunar bottoming pattern. Verizon. This is one of those patterns. I don't think it's going to happen because you got these two big green bars. But if it does take out the lows, then then that might turn ugly. Crocs, we'll watch 30-minute high. MU, day trade idea. I have an alarm at 1:15. I was going to give put spread, but there was no juice. STE, higher low after a Climo. Adobe, put spread idea, Friday's high. Alpha India, Climo stabilizing. Hilton, looks like a day trade short. Friday's low. Walmart, I was going to do put spread, but no juice. How about retail? See retail higher low with a void. Whiskey, I was going to do a put spread, but earnings 5.2. LKQ, got pummeled last week, but stabilized. Friday's high, put spread idea. Soon. Sure. Sure. Hun, a little retest pattern here. I have an alarm up here somewhere already. Transport looked lower under Thursday's low. That looks bad. But Ryder is bullish. Greg pointed that out in this weekend video. That's a 1, 2, 3. So I got an alarm at 123, I think, on that. OIH, we're already in with a put spread and long, but over last week's high. You can either add or take a new position. Pave, I like. Little new low reversal with a void. Buy setup weekly. UNH. Why am I looking at you? You look like a big old mess. Albemarle, 5.1. Otherwise, I was going to do a put spread. Let's have some mention in Barron's. I'm assuming positive mention. It's gap. Wow, it's a big gap up to 123. All right, so the gap messed it up and earnings messed it up. Yeah, and ELF had, I think, positive mention. This is a beautiful pattern. You got a breakdown failure greater than 100%, bullish price action, void. Nice name to it, ELF. And there she goes. This could be a 5-minute higher. Our Rexer did give out. Man, my alarms are going nuts here. All right, ELF. All right, so DKS did not gap over, so that's will be a clean hit. So let me reset my alarm. Um, 207. Oh, it's right here. Okay, so DKS is a go. Greg, what do you think of ELF here? I know it came down really sloppy, but 5-minute high, that looks great to me.
Fine for day trade, sure.
Yeah. All right, so you all got it. Looks great to me. All right. So DKS is a go. I'll put, hey, Mindy, Alex, I know that's you. Mindy looks good for day trade, 5-minute high. Delta alarm, I'd say 30-minute high. Wow, tick 1100 diamonds. IWM ripping here on a 5-minute chart at least, but that mean a whole lot on the daily. IWM looks like it might slowly chug to the 50. Lunar, nothing to do but alarm. Shoot, Greg's Travelers that was shorted ain't working. Dell alarm. That's good to go. We did a put spread. Visto up alarm. No, Alex, that's you. That looks great. I did I give this official? Oh, that looks great. Visto. I posted one in Telegram after we sent the letter out. I forget which one, but let's buy this. Earnings 5.8. Stop Friday's low. Adobe up alarm. Um, yeah, it's Autodesk up alarm. Alex, there's a day trade. Nice 15-minute chart. All right, DKS, we also gave as a Greg, I gave Dell put spread, but what do you think directional?
Day trading, sure.
I meant swing. So I guess you're saying no then. All right, Elf, Dill. Wow, these are all good to go. Wow, rarely have we had all of these clean hits on the weekly options trader if we get filled. Rig T and his cousin QBTS. Oh no, QBTS, the A/B test. There's zero turn yet, except on a 2 or 5 or 15-minute chart, but not the hourly, not the daily, not the weekly. So, below put spread just hanging in there. It's good to go as a directional. Last week's high. OIH just hanging in there. Put spreads making money. The directional is dead money. Oh, Trump up alarm.
It's not doing
We have a third lot left.
Reddit is strong. Coming to some resistance.
Yeah. I was tempted to put that in as a directional, but this resistance here, and there was no juice for a put spread. All right, good morning. We're still long stock. This dead animal stopped 430, so it's hanging in by a thread. Manu long stock, we're in trail mode. Let's move it now to Friday's low, 1598. Well, actually, yeah,
Dell came all the way back down the bottom of the 5 minute bar. See if buyers want to step in here. SMHs continues to fall. Maybe markets fill the gap. That's where would be the better place to initiate something if it's going to happen.
SFM, we trail stopped out. Let me close that. We only had a third left, I think. Yeah, third left. Sierra Romeo up alarm. We're already in it. Yeah, this one went against us a little on Friday. So it's just an up alarm for me. And our alarm is fine. Let's move stop Friday's low, 582.
Qs couldn't get through that resistance, and Qs coming through some support. Gap fill coming. Rocks showing a little relative strength. Another beaten down one, but CROX.
Yeah, it's on the list. I said maybe 30-minute time. All right, the shop coming in hard. I said 71.67. Right now, midpoint is 90, so that got filled at 80. That's the limit. So GR. Yeah, put GR on the list, sure. And workday. Yeah, yeah, it's continuation, at the prior low, but I like an ability to bounce last 2 days topping tails. I like the 15-minute topping tail, so sure. All right, we're getting pullbacks here. The DKS 295. Yeah, that got filled on the pullback.